Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. You're saying it's a sensation you haven't felt in a long time. Both teams picking up dubs this weekend.
Yeah, I'd have to do some counting back to figure out the last time. What we're talking in the space of 6 hours, both teams getting a win. I don't know the last time I would have rolled on from a Tigers win into an Arsenal game and then seeing them follow through as well. I think you're looking at probably a good 2-3 years maybe, but I'd have to do the math and work that out. But it was bloody lovely. Head to pillow there Sunday morning, knowing I was free from any ridicule in terms of your sporting results over the weekend. So it was bloody nice. A great, a scrappy win there for the Tigers, and keeping our hopes alive of avoiding that spoon, and pretty stock standard win for the Arsenal there on Sunday morning.
Yeah, we'll chat about both in a bit more detail later, but big news this week in the other games. Nathan Cleary's pulled up injured.
He's out again.
The news of the week, NRL related, certainly on the field, of course. With all that is going on with the Tron Mitchell. I don't know if we touched on that last week, but I think we did.
It was great timing for the Tigers. I think that was.
I think that broke before we recorded last week. But
that was pretty ideal for us. I think the way that fell. But you're right, Cleary probably the biggest piece of news there to come out of the weekend. After seeing that Melbourne Penrith game, I think Melbourne might be the team to beat regardless. Obviously Cleary been in and out this year with injuries, but it's very good for the Tigers. You were saying before, it gives Luai that opportunity to come in and play a 7 in finals footy. Gives him a bit of confidence to jump in and take that role there next year. So blessing in disguise for us. Well, not even just a blessing.
Yeah, 100%. We've seen it before with the World Cup a couple of years ago when the stakes were high. But I suppose sort of rocking with that underdog mentality there, where this is going to be a huge test for Luai. He came through it with flying colours earlier in the season.
He played well, yeah. He played well in the 7.
Through Cleary's injury there, but it's a different kettle of fish going into finals footy without a man like Nathan Cleary leading the side around. So
100%. I did
a few weeks coming up for.
Did me old ladder predictor. Pick the last few rounds in my finals, and it ends up being a Melbourne Penrith final. I think no matter which way you're looking at it. So it's gonna be a bit of a spanner in the works there for Penrith. You'd imagine for them to go on and win it again.
4 in a row is going to be a lot tougher now. Without the main man.
Well, start of the year I was back in the Bronx to go out there and beat them to stop the rout. So obviously we're not going to see that happen, and it looks like Melbourne are going to be the closest to being able to do that. So I'm hoping. I don't want to see Melbourne go out there and win it, but I'd probably rather see them go out there and win it than Penrith win it again. Something that it is a little bit different. It's not different when you think of how many times we've seen them win it over the years, but it is different compared to seeing Penrith just go out there and do a repeat again.
Yeah. To be fair, I'd be pretty stoked if it was anyone but those two teams. Obviously, Dragons will be in with a shout at finals footy. I'll be very torn if the Dragons can pull off a miracle run to the grand final, knowing I'll be on the other side of the world at the time.
Yeah.
If the Dragons make a grand final while I'm in fucking Europe, I swear to God. But I mean, let's be honest, it's probably not going to happen. Huge hurdle, but there are a couple of sides that could potentially.
Dragons make the grand final, and I'll go.
You'll go for me?
I'll go for you.
Yeah.
I'll go to the game for you. I'll book a flight, and I'm sure I'll be able to wrangle myself a ticket somehow. I reckon Imaging System might be able to hook me up with one somewhere along the line. So. There we go. We'll lock it in. If they go, I'll go.
I'll pay for your ticket.
I'll go, and I'll go in the red and white, and cheer on the old Dragons. But I didn't think about that. You'll be on the other side of the world. That'd be hectic. You'd be tuning into the game at some ungodly hour. Not even really. It'd be what.
Probably like first thing in the morning. Waking up and having
your brekkie, maybe a brunch even because you're on holiday mode. It's 10:30, game kicks off at 11 or something like that, Oh God, it'd be a weird situation.
I'll be in Italy, so
buongiorno to that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how. Well, I think it's about 11 or 12 hours time difference. So
I think you'd
probably be looking at a brekkie grand final. I suppose there's worse things to be looking at.
What do you have for brekkie in Italy? Pasta, maybe a pizza,
brekkie pizza, maybe
a little brekkie pizza with the grand final. Looking out for your mate Pat on the TV, that could be the way to go. There was plenty of footy there on over the weekend. It wasn't just the Tigers win, although is kind of what it felt like for me. So we have managed to get you a little team of the week going there again. Tommy Turbo. I've been saying it, he just seems to be just getting better and better each week, and another outstanding performance there for him on the weekend.
Yep, 100%. Really lifted for Manly again. So as long as he can stay around in this sort of form, I don't see why Manly can't sort of shake a few feathers in the final.
I think
series.
there'll be one to watch out for. That's for sure. Dom Young and Carraz there, your two wingers. This week, a couple of meaties there for you this weekend.
Yeah, did you see Carraz during his try absolutely balls the ball, like planted it and then like full on smacked his balls, and like they were like, oh, he's winning himself, and then he was like having a yak, and
Jesus,
like,
not nice.
I think it's a bit lower than the tummy area, so
not nice.
Not nice, but hey, makes up with it with a team of the week appearance yet again. His teammate next to him there, Stephen Crichton, another outstanding game in the centres, and hat-trick hero Valentine Holmes.
Your new mate, yeah.
Signed on with the Dragons. It's all been officially announced over the last week or so. So
yeah, I think it's probably that was probably his second favourite thing of the week, I'd say, behind getting the team of the week call up there for TGIF. But yeah, joins a pretty tasty looking back line there. Galvin and Hunt are your two halves. Lucky Galvin there, leading that young pack to a win there on Saturday night, and the other end of the age scale there, the stalwart Benny Hunt, doing the same for the Dragons on Sunday.
Yeah, 300 odd games, more experience, but two pretty similar performances really. Couple of try assists each. Leading their teams to good wins on Saturday and Sunday respectively, but the old St George West's halves pairing. Don't know if we've had that one over the years.
Yeah, maybe at some stage. I'm sure Benny Hunt would have made a fair few appearances. We might have had one.
I don't know if we've had too many Tigers 6 appearances. Maybe Dewey.
We might have seen a Dewey Hunt combination at some stage.
I was going to say Appy, but didn't really make the team too often when he was playing in halves.
Would we have seen maybe like a Dragon 6 Brooksy combination the one week that Brooksy maybe has a good game and makes his way into the team? We'd have to
do some research on that to verify, I suppose.
Tracking there. Josh Curran and Oregon Kafusi, your two props there for the weekend. Two pretty solid games from those two lads.
Under the radar, sort of, not really your big names when it comes to front rowers, but two huge performances from the lads. Josh Curran especially, like, was running around, like, he's given up like 10-15 kilos almost front rowers, and he's mixing and matching it with them in recent weeks.
He's a beast.
Been going well. Ever since he was at the Warriors, he's been a hell of a player, I reckon.
I think now, in retrospect, looking at it, he's probably been a player that the Warriors have missed quite a bit this year.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a huge role last year, but
what you've seen
definitely made a lot of impact.
What we've seen, well, a lot of impact, but what we've seen from him this year, he's definitely taken that step up.
100%, and the Warriors could definitely use a bloke like him.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Little slotting in there between them, taking that hooker role.
Wasn't a great start to the game. First attempt at tackle, sort of threw an arm at Keanu Kinney as he broke the line and scored a try on the Titans' first possession of the game. But after that, he screwed his head on and did really well. Set up a little meaty, unfortunately for you, because you had him to score to bring you a little bit of value there in your multi last week. But yeah, a great game. He's really turned a new leaf this year since coming to the Dragons, and especially since we've announced the signing of Cookie. He's saying, don't get ready to shunt me out too quickly.
He has been bloody good, actually. You're right, since Cookie's been announced. So
I'd say he's been playing better footy than Damien Cook this year. So
I
obviously,
agree
Cookie's got the experience, and
I think that's the way that teams have to do it. Go and grab a player from the Tigers. They do seem to turn into a little bit of magic once they leave. So maybe that's the transfer plan that teams need to go for more often. But you're right, probably has been playing better footy than Cookie. Definitely did enough to make his way into the team of the week there. Over the weekend, Lukey and Katoa, your two second rowers there. Two players, definitely repeat offenders there this year.
100%, yeah, two big boys, love to see it. Cam Murray rounds out your team of the week on the losing side, obviously, but
I believe I saw a stat. I think it's the most, it might have been second or third most tackle and run combination in an NRL game or something like that. Like it was like, I think he had 30 runs and 54 tackles, possibly, and it was there for a total of 84. And I think there might have only been two that were high. An absolute outrageous performance from the man at the Bunnies there. And yeah, rounds out a pretty tasty looking team again this week.
Yep, no double barrels, but
no double barrels again, so I'm not putting money on them in a grand final. However, you're probably looking at a little bit easier to get yourself in that salary cap, I think, there as well.
I'm just looking at those outside backs and thinking, fuck me, how are we even going to keep that under the cap? But
yeah, I mean, that is quite outrageous.
You rattle off Tommy Turbo, Dom Young, Val Holmes, Stephen Crichton. That's 4 superstars straight away. Carraz, you're not getting him on the cheap after the season.
You might be if he knows that he's got all these fellas around him.
True.
But it could be that old double barrel. Maybe he's an avid listener and he knows they ain't doing shit without someone with a double barrel involved in there. But yeah, pretty tasty looking team again. Now we get into a little bit of Thursday night action this week. The old Tigers following on from that win there last weekend up against Manly. Up against an ever improving Manly, so it's going to be a tricky one. But coming off that game there on the weekend, I mean, there's nothing to lose at this. Well, there is stuff to lose still. You know, we can still get that spoon, which we're not after. But you are in a situation, I guess, where there is nothing to lose. You've got to go out there and throw the ball around and give it a shot. So that's kind of what we need to do this weekend. But it's what we did last weekend as well. We gave it a really good crack. We stuck in there for 80 minutes, which was probably the thing I was most impressed with. There wasn't a stage in the game where we really fell apart or anything like that. It was a good, solid performance the whole way through. And I think defensively, you know what, we'd conceded 40 points every game for the last, what felt like 3 years. And to go out and only concede 16 points, 3 tries.
Yeah, it was a good performance for the Tigers. Lots of youngsters doing really well for you at the moment. It's good to see there's some shining lights at the end of the tunnel. I thought Whanua was best on ground.
See, I was so disappointed to see that he'd been dropped to the bench. But he came on.
Galvin, man.
He came on and was unreal.
good.
Ever since that first pre-season game where we saw Whanua play, and I thought he's going to be a very, very good player. But I also thought the same about Matamoa. We've barely seen him. So, but yeah, Whanua was awesome. Galvin was unreal. Probably your 2 standouts. I mean, Galvin's just he's crazy. He's going to be such a good player, and has come out now and sort of said, he is going to be there next year. He wants to be there, and
well, I think he might have grown up a Tigers fan by the looks of things. Obviously came through the grades at Parramatta for a couple of years before you managed to scoop him up. Yeah, obviously that big contract drama earlier in the season, but now we know it's sort of came from his
I think
agent.
Luai will be quite a nice.
Yeah, that's the
combo.
thing. Him and Luai, if you can get some decent forwards, maybe balance out that cap a little bit there in terms of the forward pack. Get them a bit of go for it.
Get a couple of the oldies out of there and get a couple of new fresh faces in there, which would be good to see. Mason, another player there on the weekend.
Yeah, I was just going to say lots of young,
well.
really good outside backs. Obviously, you've got Dream Buller, but Heath Mason filled his boots very nicely there at the back.
First game
Solid
at fullback
defensively for a rookie.
First game at fullback, as far as I'm aware. I think they said.
Ever. Or just like first grade.
Maybe. Well, definitely
first grade because he's only
is-
come off the bench.
Yeah,
2 times.
twice I think
before,
it was. But I think more used in the halves role.
Right.
So it may have been first game of fullback ever, possibly. I'm sure he's got out there and had a run around it with the one on at some stage.
He looked pretty natural under that high.
He
ball.
was good.
Safe and reliable.
Very confident, and I think. But he's again with a lot of those young players that have come through for us do play like they're. I don't want to say like they're seasoned pros, but we're so used to seeing these dudes who you're paying the big bucks for that you're expecting to do wonders, completely just fool around really.
You look at the Dragons the last few years, we've had everyone been pretty below par apart from Ben Hunt, who's on the big money. That's sort of what you expect. Tigers, possibly haven't spent the most wisely over the last few years, but if you can balance it out, there's some youth there that you can keep around and build the side around. Coming up against a Manly side, as you said though, and hot form themselves. I think they won their last 5 of their last 6.
I think since Tommy Turbo's been back, they've just like I've said it each week, they've got better and better. And I mean, it wasn't the flashiest of performances there on the weekend from the Warriors. I don't think they weren't given too much of a challenge, Manly, but that first half was they toughed it out. I think Warriors sort of stuck it in there with them, but we saw in that second half sort of Manly just looked too strong. Ball in hand, they sort of ran in there with a few tries and put the game to bed. So you're right, they are coming in a very good vein of form, and they're going into finals footy. If they can keep winning and things go their way, they can even see themselves sneak into a top 4 position. So I don't know where you want to be. I don't know if you
1 point behind.
Don't know if you want to. Would you rather finish 4th or 5th?
I mean, in all reality, you're going to Melbourne. Are you going to beat Melbourne in Melbourne to qualify for a prelim? I mean, you'd probably rather the chance of that, but realistically, you're more of a chance to roll into that second week of finals with a bit of form off the back of having dicked the Dragons.
I think that's kind of the way I've got it down. I'm pretty sure as well that Manly to finish 5th and Dragons to finish there in the 8th. And Manly to do the dirty over here. So I mean,
as long as DCE, Brooks, Tommy, and Jakey Turbo stay fit in that spine. They've obviously got heaps of punch out wide as well with Alexa Popular and Saab.
You wouldn't have thought Brooksy there at the start of this year, but I mean, in the last couple of weeks as well, since Tommy Turbo's been back, he's probably been the better half out of the two. There was a week, not last week, I think maybe the week before, where Cherry Evans was pretty quiet and Brooksy sort of was the main. Obviously not in running the game like DCE does, but you know, he was the man doing everything.
Yeah,
and he's coming into some good form as well at the right time of the year.
Yeah, I think most people were saying at the start of the year that it would be a great place for Brooksy, go and sort of sit under the shadow of DCE and Tommy Turbo there, and not have to be the first or second option, I suppose you'd say. But yeah, no, as you just said, he's been running the show over the last couple of weeks. Maybe not, as you said, the whole game, but the highlight moments, the big moments. He's got his handprints all over those, that's for sure. So it's going to be a very tough chance for you guys to pull ahead or even draw level with Parramatta on the points.
I mean, it's all down to. Well, I don't think it's this week anyway. I think it all comes down to them. It's more on them losing. History's not really on our side in this one. It is at Leichhardt, but not in general.
Not history at Leichhardt's on your side though. You're rocking a 7-2 win ratio at Leichhardt Oval over the years.
Auckland United, whatever. What are they bloody called? Auckland FC. No, Auckland FC. Auckland FC Black Knights or whatever. The new team. Yeah. They played a friendly at Leichhardt recently, so that's pretty cool. So maybe that's a slight omen. Maybe we won, I believe, 1-0, I think it was. So maybe, we can go out there and win it with a field goal, maybe. Maybe that's where they're leaning towards.
Look, 1-0, I'm sure you'll take it if it means you
not 1-0. I think maybe that's just going to be the difference on the day.
Okay.
1 point.
Yep.
I'm gonna maybe say like a Lockie Galvin. It's probably got to be slotting that field goal. Maybe we're talking 79-16 on the clock, something like that. 28 metres out, third tackle, maybe a little bit unexpected. Catch them off guard a little bit. Maybe it's someone else's first receiver and they've done like a little bit of a Freddy duck or something like that, and it's a little skip pass over to Galvin and slots it through. So maybe that's the omen we're after. But I don't think this is the game that we go out there and draw level with Parrot just yet. I think we bank on a Brisbane win against the Eels. It doesn't matter what this result happens. We go and we take a bye. You go out there and beat them, and then we can do it on the final day of the season, and ideally take that 16th spot.
It's a good plan. As you said, this one's going to be possibly a write-off for the Tigers. Manly currently rocking a 6 fixture win streak in this one, dating back a few years there. So, yeah, interesting stat though. NRL formed 98. These two teams didn't face off until 2003. You know why? Because Wests were Western Suburbs and Balmain in the first year of the NRL, and then they formed. But that year, Manly formed Northern Eagles. So West Tigers only played Northern Eagles for 3 years.
Okay.
99, 2000, 2000, or maybe even the first 2 years. When did the Tigers?
Tigers were 2000. That was our first.
There you go. First 2 years was Wests and Balmain versus Manly, and then 2000 Wests Tigers merged and Northern Eagles merged. So you played only the Northern Eagles for 3 years. So buzzy one. I was like looking at a website. First match up in 2003, I was like, what about the 5 years before that? Like,
that's quite weird. Well, I knew it would have been only from 2000.
Then I clicked.
That's quite an unusual stat there, that one.
So, yeah, buzzy one. Manly, as I said, bringing that recent history into this fixture, but the all-time record at Leichhardt is very strong for the Tigers. Tupou comes in to the centres for Adam Dewey.
Injury, but still weird.
Alamano for Laulili with another head knock for the young bloke. That's fucking unlucky.
Not good at all, because he's bloody awesome.
He was suffering concussion over these ways, wasn't he?
I think so.
Wasn't that the whole jam? They missed the team bus. Did you see that?
Galvin apparently missed the bus because of his alarm or something.
Well, they all went and crashed in Luke Laulili's room because they didn't want him to fuck out with the concussion. Which is fair, but then apparently none of them used their phones as alarms. They tried to use the old
alarm clock
in the hotel room and couldn't work it.
Jesus Christ, that's quite fucking. If that's true, that's very, very
pretty fried, eh? Surely.
But I mean, they are all 18.
Yeah, they are pretty young.
So
they've all been told.
But then you think about what 18-year-olds should be like, having grown up in this generation. They should be pretty bloody tech savvy. Who's fucking around with an alarm clock anyway?
Yeah, surely you know your fucking phone.
My mum uses an alarm clock, but she doesn't use the alarm on it. She just uses just the clock.
Yeah.
But every now and again, I've got to go on there and fiddle around because a button's been pressed, and they're tricky. They're tricky pieces of work. It's going to be a tough one there Thursday, but I mean, fuck. I've had to back them regardless. I'm going for a 1-12 Tigers one, and I'm going that man at the back again, Heath Mason, to donate for a meaty, $14.69.
Yep, I like it. The man in the headgear, always a good sign. I've gone for just the old 3 try scorer bet. Tommy Turbo, Charlie Staines, and Luke Brooks. Back at his castle of Leichhardt. $12.25, but obviously with Turbo and Staines, you're not getting too much value out of those two.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like the narrative of that. Brooksy there scoring a try back at Leichhardt. We jump all the way there to your last game of the round, first to last. Your Dragons up against the Sharkies. Again, both teams probably haven't had that for a wee while either, where both of our teams have won on the same weekend. I'd imagine that. I mean, it might have happened earlier this year, but there might be a shout that we're going back to last year. Your boys pretty stock standard win there over the Titans, and the Sharkies having to go through to Golden Point to win it with a kick.
Yeah, that was a very controversial game. I'll get into that in a minute, but first on the Dragons, it was a very good first half. Scoring the most points in our first half over 2 years for us. So
wow,
26 points. As I said, Kinney running away to score on Gold Coast's very first play of the game. I was sitting there thinking, fuck me, we haven't even tackled them once, and
they're in for a try already.
What is going on here? But after that, it was brilliant from the Dragons, running in 5 tries in that first half. Bit of a theme of the weekend there. It was a fucking strong wind, and we had it at our backs the first half. The second half, running into it, and certainly showed. Gold Coast pulling off a couple of tries. One from Jaden Campbell. That has got to be the most jammy thing I've ever seen on a rugby league field.
It was
a clean dropper and not even react with your sometimes you see blokes drop it or get tackled and they fling a foot out and hope. It just hit his foot while he was running.
We had the Ponga one against the Tigers last week, which he's thrown a foot out at it.
Yeah.
But it's not a kick because I don't agree with the fact
you have to
I think you need to be going
purposely be going for the kick.
In the game before that, we had the Manly game where Manly conceded a try, which ended up getting disallowed, I believe. Or Manly conceded a try that got disallowed based on the same thing, and Jaden was up in arms until it got disallowed because that was even more less of a kick.
Yeah.
So I think it needs to be. Maybe they need to chuck some sort of mind reading little probes up there. So
it's tough. It's very tough to prove intent based on a picture replay. But look, it was jammy. I'm probably not up in arms to make any rule changes over it, but yeah, jammiest piece of rugby league assist work I've ever seen from Jaden Campbell there. And then another nice try as well for the Gold Coast. But we brought it home, 13 plus. Always happy with that, even if it is only giving me $2.70.
Wins a win.
Yeah, but yeah, Cronulla, that game up against Newcastle, it was a weird old game really. I thought Cronulla weren't very impressive at all. Like Newcastle were just shocking in the second half, and they had it coming. Those two tries, or maybe it was just one try they conceded. Because like they just kept dropping the ball, giving away penalties. Dan Atkinson ended up slotting the field goal to bring it home, but yeah,
dodgy.
The old blockers call for the two previous field goals, which to be fair, I thought both of them were fair. Like I thought the rule for blockers was you had to be like in a position to actually catch the ball, and as long as you're there, it's the defence's prerogative to run around you. Like, they shouldn't get a beeline at the kicker necessarily. So yeah, bizarre that it was called a penalty. I think the ref had to blow the second one, having given the first one.
After already given the first, you have to give the second one, exactly,
And then Sharkies, I guess, must have stayed away from any blockers on that third one there. But I guess it's another one really that you probably have to bring in some sort of mind reading technology to really get a true black and white answer, as if someone was genuinely standing there in a position to catch the ball, or whether he's pulling a sneaky a blocker move. But to be fair, I think the way that both teams did it was all fair and in the rules. So yeah, I guess justice was served in the end, and that the Sharkies got the first one, which was legit, and then they ended up winning the game.
Exactly,
But yeah, no, it was like, it's probably, imagine if it swings the result in a grand final based on
a rule that people aren't even 100% on, exactly.
Rule, which
you'd like to hope it doesn't have to come down to that in the end. I like that there, what you've got. That's a really interesting stat. So Dragons have only won 2 in a row twice this year, both involving the Tigers.
Yeah, first one was Tigers' first win. Second one was Tigers' second win there. But yeah, we've literally gone
win loss.
Nah, we haven't gone win. Like, we've had a couple of 2 losses in a row. But yeah, it's like win loss, apart from when we've had the Tigers.
That's unusual. So
unfortunately, it is a loss week for the Dragons this week up against.
But that equates to a win next week against Para, and that's all that we're after. You're helping us out. The Dolphins can maybe go out there and lose as well this week, so it doesn't affect you guys too badly. Maybe someone else there above you can also. Manly are going to drop points this weekend as well, maybe. So who knows? And that's the nice thing about sitting there in that last game of the round. You can you know what you've got to do.
Yeah, there's gonna have to be a lot for the Dragons to sort of move up from 8th, maybe even 7th there. But you never know if Manly, Canterbury, and Cronulla can keep losing. Dragons may just end up pulling a little sneaky one. But another crazy stat on doing a bit of research on this game, 29 wins to Cronulla to 23 overall, but the overall score between the two teams, 1,017 to 1,015, so Cronulla with a 2-point advantage
that's
over 52 games against each other.
That's outrageous, that's pretty cool. You're looking at 50 times 200? Sorry, 50 times 20
each roughly.
Yeah. Per game. Wow, that's
a couple of more big wins for the Dragons than Cronulla.
That's pretty bloody cool. when you look at it like that. Do we see that closeness continue then maybe as your usual out the window this weekend looking at that?
I mean, I think my usual is out of the window.
Out the window,
based on
not
a couple of things. As I said, it's a loss week. It's very close margins in terms of the aggregate all-time score line. Could be a chance that maybe Cronulla win one big, Dragons win one big, and it just evens out. Like
possibility, yeah.
It's a lot of noise making a small average, but you never know. I said Manly had won 6 in a row against the Tigers. It's even uglier for the Dragons. Sharkies coming in with 8 wins against the Dragons in a row, dating back to the COVID days at Campbelltown was the last time the Dragons won. So yeah, it's been a long time. Only win in the past 10, obviously, against them. I guess the only thing really going in our favour this week is that Flano will be desperate to get one up over his ex-employers. A couple of players dropping out for the Sharkies due to injury. Katoa and Talakai, but they get Trindle back. They get Kyle Iro back as well.
Two handy players coming back into the team, and they obviously got the win there on the weekend, but like you said, they weren't too flash, so probably two players that we're happy with coming back at this time in the season. So I think you've definitely got your work cut out for you a little bit more this weekend than you did last.
Yeah, Sharkies at Shark Park as well, I believe this one. It might actually be at Cogra. Let's have a look. Maybe it's at the Gong. Dragons
It's a home game.
Down in the Gong, so we're in home territory, but it's not looking pretty. But I've just gone as you said, rinse and repeat. $5.50 for the Dragons to pick up a big healthy 13+.
Oh, you got to do it. It fell through. It came through.
It's definitely paid off more than it's cost me this year, I'd say.
Yeah, which is exactly what you want. So I'm going Dragons 1-12 and Jacob Little to cross the try line, and that's going to get you $14.67.
I like it.
So I'm going on that close run thing that we were talking about. That's what I'll be after. No, we said before how good it was to have both the teams win back to back like that. A 2-0 win there for the Ars Sunday morning, 2 a.m. kickoff. I'm staying up. I'm watching it live. It was bloody good to be back up at that time in the morning watching a Gooners game. I don't think I've done that for a wee while. Stayed up all the way through for a game and not falling asleep. I probably since I was early 20s, I reckon.
Pre-full-time work?
Yeah, 100%. I remember saying that I'd never miss a game of Arsenal again. And as soon as I started working full-time and I realised, Jesus Christ, I ain't getting up at 4:30 on a Monday morning to watch.
It was alright when we were Europa League and we played, when we were Champions League back in the day and we played every Saturday in England, which made Sunday here, but through those few lean years of Europa League football, there were a few Monday, Tuesday games involved, so
a Monday 4:30 a.m.
You're not rocking that into a day's work.
Not at all. So it was nice there being able to stay up till 2, tuning in. That's always the thing there. You always say you're up till 2. You're not up till 2. If you want to stay up till 2 and fall asleep at kickoff, go on. But you're up till 4.
Yeah.
So that's actually what you're cranking out. So it was a good 11, 12, 13 hours, probably more of sport for me there on the weekend. Definitely more. We're talking like 17, 18 hours probably, about 2/3 of my day, tuning in or getting involved in some way. But a 2-0 win, couple of nice goals. We see a clean sheet at the back. there's not really much more you can ask for.
No, yeah, a couple of nice saves in there as well from Raya. I mean, a few opportunities, probably from a Wolves point of view, they might have wanted to maybe put it a little bit either side of him, but solid in goal, very solid at the back. I thought Saka was very, very good throughout the whole game. Deserved his man of the match, and Kai Havertz, good to have him off the mark early with a nice header. It's, you know, I think he scored like 7 headers for us.
He was looking like a striker, I thought, on the weekend there. He was actually, he looked a little bit more comfortable in his role.
He's had a season and a half there now.
He knows what he's doing there, I think, a little bit more now. Probably a lot of people were wondering whether we're going to see Havertz or Jesus in that starting role to start the season, but seems to have been given the nod, and whether or not he's going to be able to continue scoring goals for us. I mean, we obviously score goals from all over the park, but it would be nice to have that 20 goal a season, 25 goal a season striker. So if we can have him continue to score goals, then we may be all right. But yeah, I thought, as you said, Saka, he was really good. Havertz looked like an actual striker. Like you said, Raya as well, made a few decent saves. Nice to see Ethan Ranieri involved there on the bench. It was the first thing I noticed when I saw that he wasn't involved in the under-23s game, was that I'm guessing he was involved in that first team squad, so that's quite cool to see. Hopefully we get to see quite a bit of him this season.
Yeah, I'd say we will. Obviously came onto the scene at, what was it, season before last. As the youngest ever Premier League player, so cool to see him make his mark on this Arsenal team, which is pretty crazy how well we're going and how young he is, to think how good of a player he must be. So yeah, very excited to see him come to fruition as an Arsenal player this season a little bit more. But yeah, it's going to be a tough ask this weekend, travelling up the road to Birmingham to take on the Villains at Villa Park. Obviously always a very tough trip, and turned out to probably be the fixture, home and away, that in the end cost us
it was the
league title.
It was the tricky one.
You can look at any one result that was a loss for us. I think we lost to Fulham. You could have won that game and you would have won the league had everything else played out the same. Could have beaten City in that Liverpool as well.
Yeah, you can always
probably the fixture. Probably
Villa,
the big one. Yeah, 2 losses to Villa last year.
Unai Emery coming back to haunt us, and probably one of the most improved managers that we've seen in the last few years, and he's done an awesome job there with Villa. So yeah, it's going to be a really tough one travelling up to Villa Park. I mean, probably one good thing that we saw there last weekend, Watkins not getting on the score sheet.
Yep.
If we can keep him quiet, keep him away from our area, our box, hopefully keep him quiet, then that's going to go a long way to going and getting a win. But I mean, it's only been one game, but we look pretty solid defensively. I think that's going to be a really big help for us, is that back four we've got.
Yeah, plus bringing in obviously the likes of Califorri, and we've still got Timber on the bench as well. It's starting to become a very strong squad for the Arsenal, particularly defensively. So yeah, probably our biggest ask will be breaking down the Villa defence, which, as we know, under Unai Emery has improved a shitload, and yeah, they'll probably, I think it's going to be tough for them this year with Champions League football, and yeah, probably not the depth that they might like in their squad. But if there's one manager you want, outside of obviously the big names, running a European campaign, I think Unai Emery will be pretty high on a lot of people's lists. Obviously, he's the the master of the Europa League there, so should a little third place finish for Villa happen in their group, I don't think they'll be too unhappy, but I think they'll be strong in the Premier League this year as well. Maybe not as strong as last year, but we'll have to wait and see.
It's going to be tough playing in Europe as well, trying to balance that out. So, but he's obviously missed the Europa League there. Unai Emery, he's had some success there. Obviously, the Champions League this time around, but I'm sure he'll give it a good crack. But yeah, it's going to be tough. But ideally, we come away with another 3 points there on the weekend.
Yeah, we did manage to win our last 4 going into last year against Villa. So a couple of years of home and away victories. Although 5-all over the last 10 games, no draws.
That's an interesting one, eh? No draws.
So yeah, always a game that tends to have a lot of results there. You look there, 87 wins all time to 71. For the Villains, and only 45 draws. Villa Park, it's a bit more evenly spread there with 24 wins to the Arsenal, 23 draws, 31 losses for Arsenal. But look, both teams come in with the strongest sides in a number of years, so it should be a good game, I reckon, early on. I don't know if there's any other fixtures, but certainly early days, you think. Team that came second versus team that came fourth last year.
Yeah, I think that and probably maybe Chelsea's
game of the round, surely.
Oh yeah, well, game of the round, I think you just meant as an early doors, but yeah, it's probably going to be the one to look out there for. Come, I believe that's a 4:30 a.m. or 4 a.m. kickoff there for us Sunday morning.
So probably I'll catch it Sunday morning.
I will be catching it at some stage Sunday, following on from the old 21st season there. Kicking off Saturday night for me. So
depending on what's involved at the 21st, you might see yourself through.
Very slim chance I'm still awake at 4:30, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, another 3 points would be the ideal scenario. Bloody lovely there over the weekend, being able to double watch both Friday, Saturday. There, a bit of double dipping. League and darts here in New Zealand, down in Hamilton, Quillan's Arena. Your top 8 Kiwis, or your top 8 Oceania representatives, and your top, or some of the top 8 PDC players from around the world. And unfortunately, exactly like we saw in Wollongong, we didn't see any of the Oceania representatives go through. Again, we see Hopes being the best shout there out of the Kiwi fellas. Again, losing 6-5, and again to Rob Cross. So 2 weeks in a row, he'll be out to get revenge, I'm sure, at some stage there on the tour. Hopes. Ben Robb put in a very good shift against Gizzy there. Got to 3-all, sort of that very important 7th leg, and missed a few darts at 8-8, but I think it was for the breaker throw. And yeah, Gizzy went on and ended up winning it. We saw Caden Milne put in a good shift. Mark Cleaver did all right. That's Daniel Snooks, the first player to ever get a 180 against me. Unfortunately, 6-0 by Peter Wright there, and then finds out Saturday morning he's had his car stolen. So that's
not a good weekend.
That's a really unfortunate thing to happen. So we went into Saturday there with only your 8 PDC representatives. However, we did get to see Damon Hedder make the final and pick up the Carl Anderson trophy for the best Oceania rep. But losing to Humphreys, I would have won, I think it was $93 off a $4 bet, $5 bet. Headed to beat Humphreys in the final. This was just before the final was about to start, once I knew who'd won both semis. Headed to win, Tigers to win 1-12, we were still playing as well at that stage. Arsenal to win and Liverpool to win. Might have even been a $10 bet, I think. And should have gone for Humphreys, because I think it was 8-2, 8-3 maybe in the end. He takes out his one. Won a lot of things, Luke Humphreys, but it was his first $4 first World Series event that he's gone out there and won, so he was very, very happy with that. But looked like a good weekend there down in Hamilton. I believe it's a weekend off. I think looking at all that travel time that these fellas have to get into, I think they might see a few Players Championship events possibly throughout the week. But whether or not Hopes will be there involved in that, I would imagine not while he's been down this way. So I think it's a week off, and then I believe can't be long until we get into a little bit of World Cup of. No, we've had the World Cup of Darts.
Isn't the World Cup like January?
No, it's the World Champs. We've got something else on the horizon, I believe. Where are we? Tournament calendar. Few Players Championships. The World Series Finals qualifier there. We've got the German Darts Championship. Maybe I'm thinking wrong. World Series of Darts Finals is middle of next month. We may see, probably not actually. We might see Hopesy. I don't know if he'll be invited this time after not winning either of those rounds, but possibly as maybe like the best performing New Zealander. I'm not too sure how that works. But I reckon he'll be here for a couple more days and he'll be back over to the UK maybe for next week's Players Championships. So hopefully a little bit more money and a couple of rankings jumped up on that order of merit, which would be the ideal scenario for him. That probably wraps us up for another week. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in. Remember to get involved in all your socials. Give us a like, a 5-star, a comment. Enjoy your week ahead, whatever sport you may be getting yourself involved with. If you're having a punt, do it responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yep, we sure will.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.